Intermittent fasting is a proven intervention for reversing metabolic disease. Yet, when women attempt standard fasting protocols, they often experience severe exhaustion and stubborn defensive fat around the midsection. The problem lies in scheduling. Women adopt static daily fasting routines tested primarily on men and applying them across an endocrine system that completely restructures itself every 28 days. This chart breaks down the body's hormonal hierarchy. Sex hormones like estrogen and progesterone are the lowest priority in the system. The entire structure is governed by stress and blood sugar. If cortisol or insulin levels run high, the body diverts resources away from the reproductive system, causing sex hormone production to completely collapse. Restoring female metabolic health requires training the body to switch between sugar-burning and fat-burning states. This one leaves the pressure on insulin and cortisol at the top of the chain, leaving the body with enough resources to rebuild the hormones at the bottom. To execute this, fasting and dietary macros must be mapped directly onto the menstrual cycle's phases, beginning on day 1 of the bleed. This diagram tracks a standard 28-day cycle. Days 1 through 10 mark the first power phase. Estrogen is at its absolute lowest, which means the body needs a low insulin environment to initiate hormone rebuilding. During this 10-day window, the protocol requires pushing fasts to 13 or even 17 hours, paired with a strict high-fat, low-carbohydrate diet. Hitting that precise 17-hour mark triggers autophagy. This is the biological process, which earned Dr. Yoshinori Ohsumi a Nobel Prize, where the body actively hunts down and consumes its own dysfunctional cells and pathogens. By stripping out damaged cellular debris while estrogen is low, creating a clean, highly sensitized foundation to manufacture a new wave of hormones. By day 11, the body enters the manifestation phase. Over the next 5 days, ovulation triggers estrogen to hit its absolute peak, accompanied by a sharp surge in testosterone. This massive wave of hormones creates a logistical problem. Once estrogen does its job, it travels to the liver to be broken down. If the liver is overwhelmed, that estrogen recirculates in a highly inflammatory toxic form. To prevent this, fasting must drop back to 13 hours. The diet must also pivot heavily to foods rich in probiotics, prebiotics, and polyphenols to assist the breakdown process. These specific foods feed the estrobolome, a specialized colony of bacteria in the gut whose sole job is to dismantle used estrogen and flush it safely out of the system. Once ovulation finishes, the cycle hits a 4-day dip known as Power Phase 2. Here, you return to strict 15-hour fasting to help the body clear out any residual hormones. By shortening the fasting window during the peak and aggressively feeding the gut, you ensure the liver successfully metabolizes the hormone load instead of storing it as fat. On day 20, the nurture phase begins. Estrogen steps back and progesterone takes over as dominant hormone in the body. Progesterone operates under completely different biological rules. It is incredibly sensitive to stress. Pushing through a standard fast triggers a cortisol spike, which immediately shuts down progesterone production. To keep progesterone active, you must strictly stop all fasting during this final week before the bleed. The diet must completely flip from low-carb to high-carb. The body requires heavy glucose fuel to synthesize progesterone. Complex carbohydrates like sweet potatoes, squash, and tropical fruits provide the exact raw materials needed to build it safely. Pushing a strict fast during this window signals starvation. The body panics and suddenly tanks all the hormone levels and responds with severe PMS, anxiety, and an aggressive drive to store fat. For women in perimenopause or menopause, the 28-day rhythm becomes unpredictable or stops entirely. This diagram illustrates the adrenal handoff. Ovaries power down, and the responsibility for producing sex hormones transfers directly to the adrenal glands. But when existing insulin resistance or high stress, the adrenals cannot handle the extra workload. The system overloads, triggering weight gain and hot flashes. To stabilize the adrenals without a monthly cycle, the protocol shifts to the 5-1-1 plan. 5 days of standard intermittent fasting, 1 day of deep autophagy, and 1 day of hormone-feeding carbohydrates. This specific schedule is neurologically vital. After menopause, 50% of the female brain's energy receptors lose their ability to process glucose. Instead, they permanently transition to require ketones, a specialized fuel which the body only produces during a fasted state. When fasting is decoupled from rigid rules and aligned with shifting endocrine demands, it stops acting as a stressor and becomes a mechanism for deep biological repair. What if I told you that you already have a tool that costs absolutely nothing, requires zero equipment, but has the power to totally transform your health from the inside out? And no, this isn't about some new pill or a crazy fad diet. We're talking about an ancient, built-in healing switch that's just kind of dormant inside your body, waiting for you to flip it. Okay, let's just jump right into the deep end here, because this is not some fringe wellness trend. We're talking about one of the most respected medical journals on the planet. After looking at 85 different solid studies, they came to a conclusion that should be shouted from the rooftops. They are recommending fasting, this ancient practice, as a primary, frontline intervention for tackling the biggest health problems we face today. Just let that sink in. Not as a last resort, but as the first thing to try for things like heart disease and even dementia. This is a massive, massive shift in thinking. So what is this game-changing tool? It's fasting. And look, before you even think about clicking away, I need you to just erase every idea you have about fasting being miserable, starvation, or deprivation. It's the complete opposite. You know, as Dr. Mindy Pelz, one of the top experts on this, says, fasting isn't a state of lack, it's a state of healing. It's like a precise lever you can pull to wake up your body's own genius for fixing itself. So in this masterclass, we're going to give you the complete guide on how to pull that lever, both effectively and safely. We have laid this out as your complete roadmap to getting your metabolism back on track. First, we'll get into the incredible science of why fasting actually works. Then we're going to open up the whole toolkit, 6 different fasts, and what each one is for. After that, we dive into a super important, often missed secret, how women need to fast differently. Then we'll master what to eat when you actually do eat. And finally, we'll wrap up with a simple, powerful 90-day plan you can start today. By the end of this, you'll have everything you need. All right, section 1. Let's start with the big idea. Our bodies were never ever designed to be eating 24/7, constantly digesting food from the minute we wake up to the second we go to sleep. When you just stop eating for a little while, your blood sugar stabilizes and then it drops. And that simple drop in blood sugar, that's the trigger. It sets off this powerful chain reaction of healing inside your body. You see, without food coming in, the body switches from building and storing mode to cleaning and repairing mode. So how does it do that? Well, it all starts with flipping a switch on its fuel source. I want you to think of your body like a really fancy hybrid car. It's built to run on 2 different fuels. The first one, and this is what most of us run on almost all the time, is the sugar burning system. When you eat, especially carbs, your body runs on glucose. The problem, it's a really dirty, inefficient fuel. It gives you these big energy spikes followed by these awful crashes. You know that feeling, right? That 3 p.m. slump, the brain fog, feeling irritable, and those intense, uncontrollable cravings for more sugar just to get another quick hit. But your body has a second engine, a much, much better one, the fat-burning system. When you fast, your body makes this brilliant switch. It stops screaming for more glucose and just calmly turns to your own stored body fat, converting it into a super clean, long-lasting fuel. And when your body starts burning fat, it makes these amazing little molecules called ketones. Now, what's so cool about this is that ketones aren't just an alternate fuel. They're like a premium, high-octane fuel, especially for your brain. They do 2 incredible things. First, they literally flip the off switch on your main hunger hormone, ghrelin. This is the magic behind why, after a day or so of fasting, your hunger can just vanish. It's not about willpower, it's pure biochemistry. Second, ketones give your brain this steady, clean energy, which leads to a kind of focus and mental clarity you just can't get from sugar. You're literally upgrading your brain's entire operating system. So now you get the why behind fasting. But the big question is, how do you actually do it? Because it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. Stick around, because coming up, we are cracking open the entire toolkit. We're diving into the 6 powerful types of fasts, and I'm going to show you exactly which tool to use for which job, from resetting your gut to literally melting away stubborn body fat. And hey, if you're already having a bit of a light bulb moment about how your own body works, do me a quick favor and just smash that like button. It costs you nothing, but it tells the algorithm that this is valuable info, which helps more people discover it. Welcome to section 2. Okay, let's get out of the theory and into the practice. I want you to think of this next part as your own personal healing toolkit, right? You wouldn't use a hammer to turn a screw. Well, it's the same idea here. Different fasting lengths create different results in your body. Learning to use the right fast at the right time, that is the key to unlocking the specific results you're looking for. This slide right here, this is your cheat sheet. Seriously, you might want to take a screenshot of this one. Let's walk through it. At about 13 to 15 hours, you're in basic intermittent fasting territory, and you start to get this nice little pulse of human growth hormone. That's our body's #1 anti-aging hormone. Push it just a little further to 17 hours, and you unlock something called autophagy. This is a Nobel Prize-winning discovery. It's your body's deep cleaning crew, literally eating up old, junky cells. At 24 hours, you give your gut a full day off to repair itself and reboot your good bacteria. Go to 36 hours, and you're forcing your body to become an absolute fat-burning machine. At 48 hours, you can actually trigger a dopamine system reset, making your brain more sensitive to joy. And then there's the big one. At 72 hours, your body can reboot your entire immune system. It gets rid of old white blood cells and makes brand new ones. And this really shows how those tools create these incredible results. Let's tie this back to what the New England Journal of Medicine said. They mentioned heart disease. Well, how does fasting help? By massively reducing inflammation, which is a key driver of heart disease. They mentioned dementia. How does fasting help? By improving your energy and focus through ketones, which protect your brain cells. They mentioned obesity. Well, duh, fasting directly triggers fat burning, and it kills the hunger and cravings that made us overeat in the first place. See, you're not just patching up symptoms, you're getting to the root causes. You are literally stepping into a healing state. Okay, you now have this powerful toolkit of fasts, but I need you to listen very closely because this is so important. What if I told you that using these amazing tools at the wrong time could actually mess up your hormones and work against you? For about half the people watching this right now, this next secret is the most important piece of the whole puzzle. All right, this is a total game changer. For decades, most of the health research out there, including fasting research, was done on men. But women are not just small men. A woman's body runs on this beautiful cyclical rhythm that's all about hormones. And if you ignore that rhythm and you try to fast the exact same way every single day, you can create total hormonal chaos. So let's talk about how to work with your female physiology, not against it. Let's talk about how to fast like a girl. So take a look at this chart. It maps out the typical 28 to 30-day female cycle. Your hormones, especially estrogen and progesterone, are in this constant, delicate dance. They are not the same from one day to the next. Forcing a rigid 20-hour fast every single day is like trying to play the same note over and over when your body is trying to conduct a beautiful symphony. The real key here is to match your fasting style to whatever hormonal phase you're currently in. So the most important thing to get is that we break the cycle into two main parts. From day 1, which is the first day of your period, to about day 15. Estrogen is the star of the show. Think of this as your power phase. During this time, your body is more resilient, it's more sensitive to insulin, and it can totally handle longer fasts. This is when you can push for that 17-hour autophagy fast, or even a 24-hour gut reset. But everything changes around day 16. As you move into the second half of your cycle, progesterone starts to rise. And to make this crucial hormone, your body needs more building blocks, like glucose, so it becomes a little more insulin resistant on purpose. This is your nurture phase. If you push long fasts here, it sends a stress signal to your body, which can actually shut down progesterone production. So in this phase, you want to focus on shorter fasts, like 13-15 hours, or even no fasting at all. Now, I know what a lot of you are thinking. What if I'm in perimenopause and my cycle's all over the place? Or what if I'm postmenopausal and I don't have one at all? Don't worry, there is a beautiful rhythm for you too. You just create your own cycle using what Dr. Pelz calls the 5-1-1 variation. Here's how it works. For 5 days a week, you do your daily intermittent fasting, let's say 14-16 hours. Then, 1 day a week, you do a longer 24-hour fast to get that gut reset and autophagy boost. And then, and this part is key, 1 day a week, you don't fast at all, you feast. This rhythm of fasting and feasting gives your body the good stress it needs and then follows it up with a signal of safety and abundance. It keeps your hormones happy. This is such vital information, and it's so crazy that most people have never heard it. I really want to hear from you. Is this new to you? Let me know down in the comments. And if this is the kind of deep dive health info you've been searching for, please make sure you subscribe and turn on those notifications so you don't miss what we've got coming up next. Okay, let's move on to the next critical piece of this puzzle. You see, fasting cleans the house, but the food you eat is the beautiful furniture you put back inside. What you eat when you break your fast is every bit as important as the fast itself. If you do it right, you maximize all the benefits. But if you do it wrong, you can spike your blood sugar and pretty much undo all that hard work. The goal here isn't restriction. It's about being intentional. This simple framework is your guide. So the very first thing you should think about when you break your fast is protein. It sends a signal to your brain that you're full and it protects your muscle. Then you pair that protein with fiber-rich carbs. Think leafy greens, broccoli, berries. These feed all the good bacteria in your gut and give you steady energy. And please do not be afraid of healthy fats from things like avocados, olive oil, or nuts. Your body needs them to build healthy hormones. And finally, just think color and volume. Fill your plate with a rainbow of veggies to make sure you feel full and satisfied. Now, what's really fascinating here is how this one simple number can be a complete game changer. For most of us, aiming for a minimum of 25 to 35 grams of protein in each meal, that's the secret to controlling hunger. If your protein is too low, your body will just stay hungry. Your cravings will be out of control, and it becomes this willpower battle that you're always going to lose. So what does 30 grams even look like? Well, it's about a palm-sized chicken breast, a can of tuna, or a big scoop of quality protein powder. Hitting this target is non-negotiable if you want to succeed. Now, breaking your daily 16-hour fast is one thing, but coming back to food after a 24, 36, or even 48-hour fast, well, that needs a more gentle approach. Your digestive system has been asleep, and hitting it with a giant steak and potatoes is just a recipe for disaster. You want to ease back in. Start with something simple, like bone broth. It's full of electrolytes and collagen that soothe your gut. Then about an hour later, bring in some probiotic foods like plain yogurt or sauerkraut to put some good bacteria back in. After that, move on to some well-cooked, easy-to-digest veggies. And finally, you can bring in your clean source of protein. This gentle re-entry just prevents all that digestive upset and helps you actually absorb the nutrients from your food. Okay, we have covered a ton of information: the science, the tools, the hormones, the food. I know it can feel like a lot to take, but the beautiful thing here is that getting started is actually incredibly simple. This last section is all about turning all this knowledge into effortless action. Please, whatever you do, do not try to jump into a 72-hour fast tomorrow. The absolute best, most sustainable place for anyone to start is with 16 to 8 intermittent fasting. All this means is you just squeeze your eating into an 8-hour window each day, and you fast for the other 16, and most of that time you're asleep anyway. For most people, this is as simple as finishing dinner by 8 p.m. and then not eating your first meal until noon the next day. You're just skipping breakfast. It really is that simple, and it's such a powerful first step to becoming a fat burner. But the real key here, the secret sauce, is consistency. Your body has probably been a sugar burner for years, maybe even decades. It needs time to heal, to adapt. So how long should you commit? For those really stubborn issues like the hormonal belly fat that can show up around perimenopause, what Dr. Pelz calls the menopause middle, her advice is crystal clear. Give it 90 days. Commit to a consistent 16-8 practice for 3 months. That's the kind of time frame it can take to see those really deep, lasting changes in your metabolism. So here's my invitation to you. Are you ready to take on this 90-day challenge? If you are, I want you to declare it in the comments below. Just type, "I'm in for 90 days." That public commitment will not only help you stick with it, but it's going to inspire everyone else who's reading. And if you want more guides like this to help you on your journey, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. So if there's one thing you take away from all of this, let it be this: your body has this incredible, built-in intelligence. It is literally programmed to heal itself. Fasting isn't some fancy biohack or a trick. It's just the simple act of removing an obstacle, that constant flood of food, and giving your body the time and space it needs to do the deep repair work it already knows how to do. The power is already inside you. The only real question left is, are you ready to just get out of the way and let your body work its magic? Thank you so much for hanging out with me for this deep dive. I really hope you're leaving this feeling not just informed, but genuinely empowered and excited about your health. If you got some value from this, please hit that like button, subscribe for more, and I would absolutely love to read your comments. Tell me, what was your single biggest aha moment or takeaway from today? I'll see you in the next one.